Ayy, this ain't a drill. Only time I playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and hit talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host Aramis.
I'm not on.
Yep, he's good.
Okay. It is I. 40 Keys. What's happening, y'all?
We got Schmitty on the ones and twos.
What's up?
There you go. All
That
right.
equals 3.
That's 3 of us.
Yeah.
That is
The
3
three
of us.
amigo.
All 3 of us.
Three.
And you actually are 3 amigo.
Huh?
Yeah. Aramis is one of them.
Yeah.
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 There's 2.
You mean the Musketeers?
Musketeers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
meant amigos with the Musketeers of Aramis. That's right.
Yeah.
Because when they,
I don't know what y'all are talking about.
I don't know
You're too
either.
young.
I'm trying to figure this out.
You should know, but you're too young.
Oh my gosh. Listen, we got a ton of stuff to get to. There's some really big news. 2 big pieces of news that came out today. I guess 3 if you include who the Bills hired today. Did you hear about that one?
Yeah, John Fox.
Yeah, they hired John Fox as their assistant head coach.
Yep.
Which I like the move. I like the move, and I got to be honest though. Up front, I do think it communicates. You know what, Dan? I'm not seeing the chat in here right now. Just so you know.
You're not? All right.
Yeah.
I'll be right there.
Okay. So I do think it does say something though about. Oh yeah. There you can take it over there. That way I can still talk. I do think it says something though about the direction that the Bills are looking to go to from this standpoint. John Fox, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he the head coach that coached the Broncos when Peyton Manning went there?
He was in 2 Super Bowls. Yeah, he was with the I think it was Cam Newton's team, wasn't it? He was Cam Newton Super Bowl, and he was with the Broncos. It would
so
have been
the 2015 Super Bowl.
Yep.
Right. So I guess when I'm looking at that, I'm thinking this is a guy that has experience kind of setting up an ecosystem around a quarterback. Because when Peyton got there, it was like everything was about Peyton, what offense he wanted to run, all that kind of stuff, right? And so the idea or the impression that I'm kind of getting here is, based on what you hear Brandon Beane saying, based on what you hear the owner saying, based on what you hear the head coach saying, this is really going to be like, let's just give Josh whatever he wants so that he doesn't leave us type of deal. You know what I'm saying? And John Fox has got a lot of experience with that in terms of being able to understand at a higher level how to keep the quarterback happy in a particular situation. Does that fly with you?
Well, what I like about it, I do like the move. Okay, we got Smitty. Good. We got a
cool.
chat of some sort. If anybody put anything in chat, I don't see anything yet, so we're not
Do it
ignoring
again.
Yeah, do it again. If you like copy and paste, it's fine.
That's it.
But what I do like about the move is he's a perfect complement to my defense coming to fruition. He was the let's see, when he was with Denver last time, he was like the front 7 coach.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the perfect complement to what Jim Leonard's looking to institute in Buffalo. Jim Leonard's got the back 7, if you will, and they'll share the linebackers, and Fox will take over the defensive line because his background, really where he cuts his teeth, is defense. So I think we're going to see a lot of what people thought was going to be a 3-4. It's not going to be, because John Fox ran a 4-3. Almost always 4-3, 4-3 over, 4-3 under, some kind of variation of a 4-3. But in a mint tight, it doesn't matter what you. It's going to be an even front. It could be a 2-4-2, 2-4-5, whatever you want to do. But what I like about it is, like you said, 50 years of coaching experience, pedigree. He's been there before.
Yep.
I think with regards to Brady, you have to surround yourself with somebody that's been there before, because Pete Carmichael, I don't care about that one.
Exactly.
Leonard, he's never been there on the pro level.
Correct.
Do I think he's going to get there? I do. But I think you need to, kind of escalate and accelerate the process of familiarizing yourself with your role.
Yep.
As defensive coordinator, head coach, as fast as possible. And I think that's paramount when it comes to the preseason, your training camp, your first OTAs, rookies you bring in. You got to bridge that gap, and I think he's going to help him do it, especially on the defensive side. Is it going to be exciting? No, it's not, because he's very.
He's a defensive guy.
Well, not even that. If you thought that McDermott was conservative, he's really. Yeah. He doesn't blitz almost ever. Yeah. He wants to do front four. That's it. That's his rush. Front four. He cuts his teeth with the simulated pressures, which Jim Leonard does. He cuts his teeth with aggression, but you have to have the talent up front to get the aggression, and that's what we got to look for when we're migrating over to the Joe Brady reality we are in right now.
So the one thing, I guess, all that's great, but the most important thing that you said out of all of that is the experience, because for me, that's the one thing that I think tripped everybody up when it came to hiring Joe Brady in the first place. Is you're hiring this guy to get you over the hump who's never been there before, and now you got a guy in John Fox that, like you said, won 2 Super Bowls. So yeah, that was the reason for me for optimism. You know what I'm saying? And really believing, okay, maybe we're on to something here with the young progressive minds that are in the building, while still having somebody to tap on the shoulder for, wisdom and experience in those, tough situations. The only thing that I think can become an issue is, and you kind of touched on this too with John Fox's conservatism.
Glad you said it.
Right. Because his advice is going to come from that perspective. Mm-hmm. This is a defensive guy that's going to be advising an offensive guy. I kind of would have preferred an offensive guy that's done it before. You know what I mean? Like, see if you can. Who would be available right now that could possibly do it? I mean, shoot. Well, no, Bruce Arians wouldn't work. I mean, heck, you could hire Kurt Warner for all I care. Like, just get somebody who's been there before, who's a progressive offensive mind. And I kind of worry about those end of game moments where, do you go for it? Do you not? Right? Joe Brady might in his gut feel I should go for it. And meanwhile, he's tapping the shoulder of John Fox, who's like, heck no, it's 4th and 3. Don't you dare. You know what I mean? Like that can get kind of, conflicting in those moments. And what is Joe Brady going to do? Yeah.
I mean, John Fox is 72, 71, whatever he is. He's over 70. That's not to say you can't do it when you're over 70 at all. But, when you talk about what is he good at, he is good at being aggressive. He's good at I think what I have here, I found a couple of things of his philosophy here. He wants to stop the run first. He wants to win early downs. He wants to maintain gap integrity. They want to limit explosives. So I think really he's going to tap Fox more so for the defensive side. I think for him, offensively, he's going to tap Pete Carmichael for the offensive decisions. So I think I don't know enough about Carmichael and what they did with New Orleans and wherever he was before that, and I don't know how aggressive his nature is. He sounded like he was pretty aggressive, and I think that would be something that would be in lockstep with what Joe Brady wants to do if he does want to be aggressive. But I think John Fox is really, really there to assist Leonard, in terms of Brady's like, okay, what we said about McDermott. Brady's like, okay, I'm offense. I'm doing offense. Mm-hmm. I'm the head coach, but you're the coach too. And you're going to do that side. Like, it's almost like a dual presidency, if you will.
Yeah.
So I think the hierarchy is you got Brady here, you have Carmichael here, and then Fox is like somewhere in the middle. You know, he's not on the same level, but he's not far off.
I really like this question, but first things first, I need to tell Nate to shut up because he said the PPP vocabulary word of the episode, conservatism. I fixed it, doggone it. But I like this question from Chico. Why isn't no one bringing up Byron Leftwich? He called plays for Brady in Tampa. He called plays after that too, and still or before that rather, and still had a successful offense.
He was a head coaching candidate, but.
I mean, there's got to be something going on behind the scenes where he's just kind of been blackballed. That's the only thing I can imagine happening to a guy like that who is really, I mean, with Bruce Arians backing him, he should have had a job by now with the way that offense was looking. But it's got to be something with the personality. Like that's part of the reason when I did when you weren't here on that Friday. That's why I kind of brought up this setting that we have now in the NFL where. You know, it's the head coaching hires are really based on the comfort level of the owners, and not that that's wrong from an owner of a business position. You know, it's your team. You should be able to hire who you want to hire, but that does kind of disqualify a lot of people because if they don't fit your idea of culture or relatability or camaraderie or whatever. That's going to cancel out a big pool of people, and I think that's what we're seeing now. Sal Capaccio even posted something earlier today where he was saying that the NFL is cannibalizing itself. Like that's the nature of coaching in general. Is there's a very very small pool of trusted guys that get the job because they have a reputation of fitting what the owners would want. And the guys that don't get it are either going back down into college or they're going to the XFL or they're going to the USFL and they're getting, head coaching jobs and experience over there and hoping to be able to one day transition back into the NFL. So it is kind of it's a tough scene for guys who don't fit the narrative on what owners would typically want, but that's something that I hope gets addressed with the other big news of one of the other big newses of the day, which is, let me bring it up here on my trusty dusty phone.
Before you get to that,
sure.
Few housekeeping things. First off, thank you to the 33 people I see in here so far. We only have 8 likes. Let's get that up. Also, there's a few comments before we got our chat working that I just wanted to read off for the guys real quick. We had one from Albert that said, what's good, y'all? Do you see that they banned the NFL report card? Bills are ending it with the only F travel is funny to him. Nady, Laura, Billy D, J Ham, Sweat, they all say what up.
Would it be like?
Yes. What up?
Then Albert said, Josh leaving us. We just signed him. I'm not sure what Josh that refers to. Maybe Palmer.
Yeah, it's got to be Palmer.
And I think that's all caught up from what you guys missed.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so.
Would it be like Mafia Sports Reports?
What up, Tommy?
That too.
I just
no, for sure.
Sure. Tommy. All right, so the other news of the day,
please tell me you're going to mention the ref thing.
No, that was not one of the things. I'm actually,
did you hear about that?
No, I did not. You can bring that up in a second. So the court ruled today in Brian Flores', Steve Wilkes, and Ray Horton's ongoing discrimination case against the NFL that all coaches' respective claims that had previously been compelled to arbitration can now proceed in open court. This is the quote from the court. It says, the court's decision recognizes that an arbitration forum in which the defendant's own chief executive gets to decide the case would strip employees of their rights under the law, says attorneys Douglas H. Wigdor and David E. Gottlieb. It is long overdue for the NFL to recognize this and finally provide a fair, neutral, and transparent forum for these issues to be addressed. we are finally making some progress on the idea of arbitration. I never liked the idea of arbitration, not even in hockey, because who's the arbitrator? It's usually somebody, the mediator is usually somebody that's picked by the company. And the same thing happens in our day-to-day lives with businesses that we work for. If there's a grievance between us and management, who's the arbitrator that comes in? Somebody who gets paid by the company. Who the heck do you think they're going to side with? Unless I'm sitting here with pictures and hard evidence and letters and stuff like that, like damning evidence, it's not going to go in my favor. So this to me was a very big deal for a very big win for Brian Flores and company.
I mean, I honestly don't have anything for that. I really don't.
Nothing, huh?
Because it's deeper than that. You know, this is all brought on by not segregation, but discrimination.
Yeah.
This is all brought on by a Rooney Rule that's a joke.
Yes.
This is all brought on by, you know, a system, a group of hierarchy, if you will, that is not going to change. So the song and dance, stop it. Just let it be what it is. You know, I don't know.
What do you mean the song and dance?
The Rooney Rule. Let's go. We got to interview a minority. We got to do that. They know who they're gonna do. They know what they're doing already. So let's stop it. I'd rather Brian Flores not even have to travel to Seattle for an interview he's not gonna get when he has to leave. You know, Chicago or whatever the case may be.
He didn't go. You heard.
Well, no. I'm just using because you said I couldn't think of another black coach for it. But I mean, you're flying guys out here with false hope sometimes. Sometimes these guys, they just mail it because they know. They know what they're out there for. The guys that came to Buffalo, Weaver, and they're here for an interview because they're practicing for maybe one day they can be taken seriously. Right. Until they fix that, this other stuff doesn't matter to me.
Well, this is part of the process of fixing that. That's kind of reason why I was saying this is so big, because this is basically an ongoing discrimination case being taken out against the NFL.
Yeah, and how can you? What does it change? That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Well, obviously there would have the results of this case would probably, because I mean it's not over yet, but it would probably result in sanctions and some sort of system put in place to make sure that that's not happening anymore. The Rooney Rule happened in general because of litigation that pushed the progression of consideration for black coaches. Mm-hmm. This, in my mind, would be another step in that direction of, hey, okay, fine, you got the Rooney Rule and you've been obliging the Rooney Rule, but now we have to take it a step further than that. And this, to me, is another step in that direction of progression towards making sure that it's not just, all right, let's call a couple of black dudes in here and we'll let them sit and talk about themselves for 15 minutes and then we'll move on to the real candidates that we have.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I have to see how they're going to force billionaires to consider people they don't want. I mean, they can hide it anyway. They got PR guys that somehow to get lawyers, somehow to get around stuff. It's like it's a big song and dance for me. It's a sensitive subject for me because I know what it is. Mm-hmm. You know, we've all even not because of skin tone, because familiarity and nepotism, all this stuff. And if you win a court case and you strip the Rooney Rule, you get something else in there that replaces it, and then they find another loophole around it.
Well, here's a because I call myself the idea guy. But here's an idea. You could and this happens in the real business world, right? Mm-hmm. Where if there is a discrimination investigation, they look at, okay, well, why was this person hired? What are their credentials? What's their what are their accomplishments? Let's look at the resume and compare the two. And if you have Joe Brady versus Raheem Morris, who's had a much longer career, had much more success than Joe Brady in the NFL as a coordinator and as a head coach, and yet you still chose Joe Brady, well, now when you match up the two resumes in front of you, no, something is wrong here. Why didn't you choose Raheem Morris? You need to justify that. How can you justify that?
That'd be easy.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That'd be an easy one.
So that's where I think this could possibly end up, because if you go that route, now there's metrics involved. That's where the accountability comes in, because the resumes and their accomplishments are the metric system. What they've done and their experience and accomplishments would serve as the comparison. It would serve as, this is how you justify hiring your head coach. The other good thing that does for every team is it stops these owners from just hiring guys that they're comfortable with and forces them to hire guys that fit a certain level of progression towards better, right? We went from Sean McDermott. Okay, your justification for letting Sean McDermott go was we need to get over the playoff wall. Okay, in order to get over the playoff wall, we need what? Better experience in higher leverage situations, which means we need guys with experience in the Super Bowl. So now, even though you scrape off a lot of names off that plate, it still puts you in a position as a fan that when you get that next head coach, you know, okay, this dude has been there before. He's got the experience and he knows what to do in those AFC title games to get us to a Super Bowl. Because right now, that's the only goal we have is let's just get to a Super Bowl. So I think
okay, so if that was the case, let's just say, we'll say Raheem Morris, he's been a head coach for 10 years, whatever the case may be. And then you have an up-and-coming college guy who is innovative, who's this, who's that, and he's an honest hire. Honest, because I need a new breath of fresh air. I need a new outlook. And somebody comes and says, prove why you hired him. Because he's a breath of fresh air. I don't want Mike McCarthy. I don't want Mike Tomlin. I want somebody new. And they're like, well, this resume does this, but this resume has nothing on it. Why'd you hire this guy? Because he has the ideas that are untapped. And then you're gonna. I got to prove to you now that why I picked the guy with the untapped ideas.
Well, no, yeah, and here's why that could still work. Because even Roy is like, I guess no one without experience can get hired. That's not what I'm saying. That the example that I just gave was what would happen after you fire Sean McDermott. So that is solely for the Buffalo Bills, right? And that is solely a look at what the benefits would be twofold in that particular situation. The generic NFL-wide checks and balance situation would be what I said with Raheem Morris versus Joe Brady. And that's not to say that a guy with no experience can't get a chance. In that scenario, you can look at the tenured NFL coach and look at his advanced metrics and say, look, this guy has been terrible on third down. We need to get better at that. The guy we're hiring is better at exactly that. That's why he's being hired. So it would force teams to be more methodical in their choices. And yeah, I'm sure some teams would excel at finding loopholes in that system and still hiring the guys that they want to hire and finding ways to justify it. But at the very least, it starts to close that window of nepotism and conservatism that causes them to
scroll up.
Right.
No, I'm joking.
It would close that window and force them to have to be just a little bit like the idea of all of this is to bring us closer and closer, step by step, towards full accountability, right? Mm-hmm. And again, this is another step in that direction.
Yeah, Albert said, I know you guys call it fake interviews, but giving POC coaches, people see the people of color. So it's not just, I want to let you know, it's not just black. We had Bad Bunny on Sunday, so we're going to go here. Could be Puerto Rican, could be Asian, could be Indian, could be anything. A chance to get experience in these interviews also helps. That's what I said, but that's all it is. It's a chance to get, it's practice. It's practice. It's always practice. And that's the thing that bothers me, Albert. It's just practice. But after a while, it's like I'm not practicing because I know what it is. Like if you interview for a job 3 times and you're not getting a job, you're like, whatever. I know why I'm here. I'm just gonna do my 15 minutes and skedaddle. I'm not putting any effort into this. Mm-hmm. So at what point does the practice stop? And to the point here. Fake interviews. After a while, you get defeated. You start to water yourself down. It's just a lose-lose thing. I'm sorry, Dan. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say I have a question. I think is pretty important to this whole idea. Do we know if this is being litigated in a federal court or a state court? Because if it's federal, you do have to keep in mind the current administration and what that has done to federal employees, especially minorities, this time around. And that factors in a lot to the courts. So it would lean heavily towards the owners in that case.
Judge Valerie Caproni of the Southern District of New York.
Ah, so it's a state court.
Yeah.
There might be a better chance for the coaches to have more sway in that then.
Mm-hmm. And that's probably why they took it there. Which also brings about the third bit of news that we're going to get to in just a second. To what you were saying though, Key, I think
it's federal. Never mind.
Oh, it is federal.
Nate corrected me. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You know Nate's going to correct you. Nate just loves to be that
Oh, of
contrarian.
course.
No, I appreciate it.
I don't.
I had no idea that it was federal.
I don't. It's fine.
I mean, okay.
Go ahead,
so
brother. Go ahead. What were you
yes,
gonna say?
but so I think what Brian Flores did this past season is probably going to become the new wave. You know what I mean? Because Brian Flores got a couple of calls and he was like, "Nah, I'm good."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think more more black coaches or minority coaches in general are going to start doing that. Like their agents can generally get a feel for if this is a real opportunity, if there's no opportunity for this, and that really depends on where that minority head coach is in their career. If they're at a spot where the agent feels like, based on the playing field, that head coach should be in consideration, then yeah, maybe you take a couple of interviews to see where you're at, get the practice in. It's just good for you to go through the roles. You know what I mean? But if you're a guy like Brian Flores, who's been a head coach and know you can do the job and know that you can produce on the field, I don't take that call, because unless I get a feel from my agent that you're serious, I'm not going to fit your Rooney Rule. I'm not going, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's going to become the new wave to, you're not finna just make me a 15-minute in and out.
See, I like that idea more, boycotting the Rooney Rule. I like that idea, because what that does is, one, how do you get around it as an owner?
Right.
How you can't hire anybody because you can't find a black person or a Puerto Rican or an Asian
That's
to interview.
right.
Like,
That's
hey,
right.
Hey, Way, come here. Hey, Otis, get over here.
Yeah.
Juan, come here. You can't fight. They're like, nah, brother. Nah. I know what you're doing. I'm about to go back to sweeping. Whatever the case may be, making sandwiches. Because they're just going to interview anybody they can just to say that. But see, that right there, you might have something. That in tandem with the Rooney Rule, what you just said, because now you have to interview qualified. You gotta justify why you're interviewing that guy.
Yep.
I mean, I don't care. You have to interview a black person, but you have to say, okay, I'm interviewing Raheem Morris, and he can only go on 3. How about that? You can only go on 3 or 4 interviews, in a whatever period.
Yeah.
I don't know how that helps the actual player, but that cuts down the opportunities for them to use the same guy, like an Anthony Weaver, like a Anthony Lynn that keeps going through the circuit. Bieniemy. We keep hearing these names get interviewed, but they're not getting hired.
Yeah.
And some of them we know, like Bieniemy, people don't like him. So they're not going to interview him, or hire him, but they keep using him because they can. So right. I think there are, when you're talking through it, and like you made me think about some other things. Maybe you don't have to get rid of the Rooney, but you got to tweak that rule.
Yeah, you
got to make it better, make it harder for people to go on with the day-to-day thing they do in the NFL. Think about it like this: the only backfiring would be something to your chagrin. People would be like, I can't fire McDermott because I can't find a black dude to interview. I can't do it.
I would love that. I would love that. Like you couldn't? Oh, that's so unfortunate, man. I'm so sorry that you failed to pass the Rooney Rule. That's, jeez, dude. I feel for you. You and all your billions of dollars, man. That is a very bad situation.
Bieniemy is a great point to this, actually. If you think about it, I think one of the biggest things to this whole Rooney Rule situation and the fact that there's not a lot of minority head coaches is the fact that the league is trending, at least the last few years, has been trending to offensive coaches. It's starting to shift a little bit. But if you look around the league, the offensive side of the ball is very, very less likely to have minority, especially offensive coordinators. I think there's right now only 2 or maybe 3 in the whole league.
Yep.
So I think that's one of the big keys to the last few years, at least, is they don't even have that stepping stone to go up to head coach.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a great point. Which is why I'm glad that the comment from earlier about Byron Leftwich came up, because I had completely forgotten about that guy, but he was one of those guys that I looked at as like, man, I hope he gets a head coaching job because his offense looks great. And I remember watching him as a player thinking he's never going to be that great. You know, I remember when he was drafted by the Jaguars, he had a good arm and all that kind of stuff, but he just couldn't read the field. He couldn't, make enough plays to be a successful starting quarterback.
I hated Byron Leftwich. I hate it. I mean, for me, obviously, and Kev is in here, UB, they played Marshall.
Yeah.
And I mean, Leftwich just up one side, down the other every time. I'm like, what the? Stop, please. They had 2 wide receivers. They ran 4-2s. It was an NFL offense at UB Stadium. We're just barely scraping the bottom of, Division I.
Yep. Albert says, wait, I'm confused. Isn't this whole thing about a coach being fired because his team wanted to tank, but the coach was winning, so they fired him? When did this become a race thing?
Didn't he get? Well, he got that had something to do with the firing, but didn't he get fired for refusing to meet with Tom Brady on that boat? Remember the collusion deal they were trying to? And he was like, he blew that in. That's kind of why he got blacklisted right there.
Yeah. So his gripe is against being blacklisted as a head coach because of what he did in that revealing information from that meeting with Tom Brady there. Who, admittedly Tom Brady shouldn't have been there, and because he was there, that broke some NFL rules, and so, as a penalty, now nobody's considering you as a head coach. Right. Oh, okay, fine. I'm gonna fix that. Right. I'm gonna take y'all to court, and I'm gonna prove that y'all been, you know what I'm saying? So that's really where that came from. Yeah,
it became Albert. It became a race thing when they slapped the word discrimination on there.
Yep.
And you notice that the 3 names that you said on this lawsuit are all black. So
yep.
That's how.
I'm with it. And isn't Steve Wilkes is an offensive guy or a defensive guy?
Is he defensive, Dan?
I think he was defensive. Yeah, I think he is defensive. So
he might have done both. I'll look it up.
Okay. I thought he was a defensive
for Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty sure he's a defensive guy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the guy to ask, but I'm pretty sure you're defense.
Yeah. So okay. All right. All right. So moving along, because we got a lot of stuff to get to.
And you got a lot, because I got cool.
Yeah, he's done all defense.
Okay, I'm 1 year ago.
What? You ain't got none today?
Oh, I got stuff, but I want to know what you got.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Before that,
yeah.
With regard to the whole news thing, Keys, you listened to WGR this morning, so you heard about this, but Aramis does not know about the reffing news.
Yes, I don't know about that. What is that?
This was crazy.
What?
I think they said it was Florio or someone from that works in NFL media, but not actual NFL.
Okay.
Put out a message on X or something that he said he had 3 people from within the league that verified this, that during the Seahawks-Rams game during the season where they had that overtime comeback win, that 2-point conversion that ended up getting overturned to a 2-point conversion.
Okay.
When they thought it was not a catch at first or whatever, and then it became a fumble, and you remember that?
Yep.
Well, it was not being considered to be reviewed. And over a minute went by, and both teams were preparing for the kickoff when the rules analyst, I think it was Gene Steratore, or no, it's the other guy, the Thursday night guy.
Last name started with a B, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
But the rules analyst had the ref's number and called him personally and said, you guys need to review this. And the rules analyst got them to review it, which overturned the call. They ended up going to overtime and winning, and then that caused them to get the number 1 seed, which caused them to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs, which probably was part of the reason why they made it to the Super Bowl and won. So he could have completely changed the outcome of the entire year.
Somebody who wasn't even working for the NFL at the time.
Right. He just had a connection to the ref and called them and got the call overturned.
Yo! What?
Yeah.
What?
On the couch having a beer, he's just got his feet kicked up on a lazy boy. He's like, wait.
Right.
You buy a TV? Get there now. Look at it. That's how I imagine that to have gone that way.
That's incredible. That is incredible. How do you listen?
But think about the Bills the Titans game or Texans game. They had some unknown ref run on the field and say, nope, that actually wasn't a fumble. Like, where'd this guy come from? Some jobber. Remember the guy in the ref in the black jacket, the reserve ref that told him that when the guy dropped the ball in the end zone on the kickoff?
I think so, vaguely.
Yeah.
You talking about in the Texans game?
Yeah, the Texans game, right? Yeah, where
that was in the playoffs, right?
Yep. He handed the ball to the ref. The ref did this. The ball hit the ground. The Bills recovered it. Touchdown. The ref called touchdown. Then the guy came off the sideline with a black jacket on, a ref hat, and they reviewed it. No, actually, the rules are that it was dead once it.
You mean the Chiefs game?
No.
Didn't that happen in
the 2019 playoffs when Allen went to Houston? The game with Cody Ford.
Yep, the Houston game.
Before that Cody Ford play.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
We had a kickoff that we returned for a touchdown that they said was not a touchdown.
I remember that now.
Because the guy in the black jacket walked up to the refs.
He was like, nah. Like, who are you, fam?
Wow.
And nobody knew who he was either.
Wow. Didn't something like that happen in the Chiefs game too? Like the following year in 2020? In the title game?
I don't think so.
Did we have something like that where it was like we recovered a fumble in the end zone or something like that, or it was something like that?
Oh yeah, you're talking about the Poyer. Is that the Poyer? No, that wasn't. Was that play? Because we got it. He punched it out and it was supposed to. Yeah. I think
it was something like that they overturned
it
or whatever.
The Poyer play, I believe.
Yeah. It's always some stuff like that.
Is it true we have Taylor Rapp? Unless you know otherwise, yes, it's still true.
You see Laura's comment?
But no analysts can make a call for us. Nope.
Travis Henry got pardoned for running a drug ring. He sure did.
He did.
He sure did. What did Laura say?
She said no rules analysts.
Okay. Right. Yeah. I saw that one too.
They can make a call against us, but
yeah.
But what did I tell you? You gotta tighten up. Tighten up. If you pound somebody in the sand, no ref can save them.
Yeah. Unbelievable. All right, moving right along. The NFL won its grievance against the NFL Players Association, effectively banning the union from publishing future player report cards, according to a memo distributed to all 32 NFL teams and obtained by ESPN on Friday morning. The NFLPA, however, said it will continue collecting the report card responses even if it can't make them public. Which is hilarious. We're still going to do it.
You just can't know about it.
Yeah, just the players can know.
Yeah, they can know. You won't know. We won't embarrass them publicly. We'll just do it in private.
Right. Here's the official statement from the NFLPA. It says, an arbitrator has issued a ruling on the NFL's challenge to the NFLPA's team report cards. The program is not going away in red. Like, that's not going away.
Aye, Captain. We heard you loud and clear.
You're right. The ruling upholds our right to survey players and share the results with players and clubs. While we strongly disagree with the restriction on making those results public, that limitation does not stop the program or its impact. Players will continue to receive the results, and teams will continue to hear directly from their locker rooms. Importantly, the arbitrator rejected the NFL's characterization of the process, finding the team report cards to be fair, balanced, and increasingly positive over time. Our methodology is sound. The team report cards exist to serve players. That mission remains unchanged. We will continue working to ensure players' experiences are heard, respected, and acted on by their teams, by their union, and wherever else possible. Okay, I mean the owners got a little something out of this. Mm-hmm. You can't give it to our patrons. You can't reveal that information to our patrons. But people who still know players and people who still, get some insider information could possibly get that stuff. I mean, it'll find its way out one way or another. And this just stops the masses from getting the information. Right. We'll probably rely more on, beat reporters and, people like us who, have sources inside and can, potentially get this information. every year. But it's what do you guys think about this? Because in my mind, like it's still good that the players get it because of teams like because of owners like the Cardinals owner who's been like his report card has been terrible for like the entire time that he's owned the team.
Bengals.
Yeah, the Bengals. These guys are guys that these report cards, if these report cards continued to be public knowledge, there would be a growth in scrutiny and criticism and pressure on these owners to make some real changes, spend some money, do something for these players that they profess to need and care about.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's twofold. It depends on where you sit. In my case, just go play football. But I think I don't want to say nosy, but there are people that are just nosy, and they're like, where does my team stack up in whatever? Like, of course, Buffalo's going to want to know what the team ranks this new stadium. They're going to want to know, what how their family is treated wherever. Versus if you're a free agent, you're like, I'm going to go to Dallas because they're treating somebody better than we do. But on the other side of the fence, if you bring your grade down with flight amenities and stuff like that, I can tell you everybody flies the same. Some teams fly, they might fly more, or if the Bills, for instance, if they took a demerit because of the London game where they flew the day before the game, like it was a regular week. Yeah, of course the team's not going to be appreciative of that. They might have wanted to go sightsee. They might have wanted to go, if they're on a bye week, let's go early. Let's go, maybe we don't need to get there. Just whatever. So that's going to bring them down. So I think that can be kept in house. It really doesn't give us any benefit on the outside except we just get to be nosy. So I think as long as they're still doing it, it gives the owner an accurate depiction of what the product is he's given to his employees, which would be players and coaches. What are they needing? What are they saying they don't have enough of? What do they have too much of? Can I pull some funds from this A+ and make that a A- where I can bring an F up to a D? That's what they should be doing for owners when they're looking at this kind of reporting.
Yep, agreed. Dan, what you think?
Give me 1 sec. I was in the middle of making a poll.
All right. Well, that's cool. We'll do some comments. Laura said, "Didn't we get a terrible team report card this year? F- on food, facilities, etc. LOL. I think that was just travel. I don't think it was really an F on anything else except travel.
Yeah, they were lower. I don't think they were Fs, but they were lower on the food and facilities. But facilities, that's the thing that the owner has to know. Is the facilities at the stadium? Is it the state of the art stuff that they do?
Mm-hmm.
The rehab. Obviously, they're gonna say it sucks when all our players are getting hurt. You got to look at stuff like that. There's a lot of things that go into this, so you can't bag on a team or an owner or an organization based on a team's perception. Who knows where they came from? If you came from a team that was creme de la creme and whatever, and they just came over like, yo, this is not what I'm used to. This is bad.
Yeah.
So how many guys came from New England? How many guys came from Seattle? Seattle has their own planes too. And those are the things that you got to compare and contrast. How many guys could have impacted this negatively or positively, and why?
Right. I just pulled up the report card right now. So they got B's and 1A and 1C pretty much everywhere except team travel. Team travel was the only thing that got an F-. So treatment of families got a B+. That was ninth. That was ranked 9th in the NFL. Food and dining area got a B-. That was 20th in the NFL. Nutritionist, dietitian was B-. That was 27th in the NFL. That's pretty bad. Mm-hmm. And that also folds into injuries and stuff like that. If you're not getting the proper fuel, your body's gonna struggle. Mm-hmm. The locker room, I guess that's the updating of the locker room or the condition of the locker room. I guess so they got a B, which is 16th in the NFL. It's an older building. They're building a new stadium. That
tells you. How is a B 16? 16 is below average, and it's a B.
Yeah.
So get rid of the letters. Laura said, where is it? Oh, she said without public exposure, though, there'd be less pressure for the team to change. They don't have to change unless their players want them to change. That has nothing to do with us.
Well, actually, I agree with that because. You know what? I'll put it like this. I think there are owners that really like Terry Pegula cares obviously what his players thinks.
The players, but does he care what we think though?
Well, no.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm going at. With public exposure, if the players have social media. So they'll go in there and say, I hate this, I hate that, or whatever, when they're on their way out or when they're in. There's not, I love this.
Yeah, but that's not. So I guess what Laura's talking about is the direct pressure that fans can put on, like, not buying merch and not, and putting up signs at games and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like there's various. Go ahead.
I think the difference is the authority factor in it. Whereas if a player or a reporter comes out and says this and that about the team and the facilities and everything, there's going to be a lot of people that are questioning, well, how real is that? Is that just someone that doesn't get along with the organization?
Right.
But when the PA comes out, it's like, oh, this is like a higher authority saying something, and they believe it more, even if it might not be valid that you should believe it more one way or the other.
Yeah, that it would be like if Shady and Acho on their podcast talked to one player from every team to put this report card together. Everybody would be criticizing, like, well, who's that one player? How long has he been with the team? Like, is he getting the ball? Is he blah, 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 blah? Whereas the NFLPA is putting this out, like Dan said, and like this forced owners to be like, well, hold on, you can't put that out to everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
I think where I am with this is what the metrics are. I mean, travel. What do we care about travel as fans? There's nothing on there for fan experience. There's nothing on there for our food. There's nothing on there for. I mean, so it's like you have a fan poll and you have a player poll. We just get to see what our players think of Buffalo. That's what this thing is. It's what do they think of how we treat them. But for this to be released, I don't see how that puts pressure on the team based on what we know as fans. That's what I'm getting at. I don't know how the fan impacts on this.
Okay, so how that works is the same way that politics works. The more information that comes out on a candidate that could be perceived as being negative, the more likely it is for people to start talking amongst themselves in a negative fashion about that candidate.
Well, yeah.
The more that happens, the more likely it is that candidate doesn't get the vote.
Right, but what I'm getting at is the candidate in that instance, the people that are voting are the players. So,
well, no. So this information being open to the public adds the public to the players. So it's not just the players having an opinion. This opinion becomes swayable for the public, because if the public is seeing, well, we're paying millions of dollars for the stadium and we're giving this owner all this money, and he's not taking care of our players. Like, these are the guys that go out on the field and put their bodies at risk to bring us, Super Bowls and wins and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
They should be taken care of.
Right. But what I'm getting at, the stuff we're paying for a stadium, things like that, sure. But when you're talking about flights, you're talking about the food they have in the cafeteria, the stuff that the way they treat their family. How do you want us to treat your family? It's so subjective that it's like, what do you expect? There has to be a baseline. What are we really saying? We're ranked, like you just said. Who's ranking it? Is it somebody that's just coming into Buffalo? Is it somebody that's getting ready to leave Buffalo that's pretty much smearing the campaign completely? We don't know. We never found out who said what. We don't know if Josh Allen says that we suck as a travel. We don't know if Josh Allen, because he's our most entrenched player. So I'm just using him as the example because we don't know what he thinks of it. We just know what the team as a whole thinks of it. But how is he comparing it to other teams? What do you know about them?
That's why they do it per year, though. Like,
right.
And I guess when I say that, it doesn't mean anything until I explain it. But the reason for me pointing out that they put this out by year is you can point at pretty much the entire roster for that year. And I'm sure all the players vote on this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There might be some that abstain or whatever. Mm-hmm. Okay, fine, right? And it doesn't specify how many of the team's players vote on this, but you can go and look at the roster for that year and say, all right, well, we know Dion Dawkins and Trey White and Taylor Rapp and Shaq Thompson were on this route. Like they're probably so there is that level of accountability where we know, okay, for the 2025 year, these are the players that voted on it. So for me, I get what you're saying in terms of we don't know the motivations of these players and their votes behind the grades that we're seeing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I would say to that is, I'm not sure if that should or shouldn't make a difference for the public's opinion, because that's really what this victory for the NFL is about. It's about them trying to take away the public's opinion while still being forced to keep the player's opinion.
And that's the opinion I think matters the most to me.
The player's opinion.
Player's opinion.
Well, I'm not disagreeing
Right,
with you
right. No,
there.
I know.
What I'm saying is I think to a fan, the player's opinion, what I'll put it like this. To a fan, what the players think is important. You know what I'm saying? So us being able to see this list and see, man, our players don't like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or our players are saying that this area of the team is bad. That's going to cause me to be curious about it. And the owners don't want me being curious. The biggest thing for any large organization that sells to a people or sells to a specific avatar is to give them the least amount of information while getting the most amount of money out of them. Like, that's how a lot of these corporations operate. So when I see something like this being taken away from the public while still being given to the players have a right to it because they're a part of the organization. The fans are not.
Yeah.
But what that also says to me is, why you hiding? You know what I'm saying? Why you trying to take my perspective away from this? Why are you trying to take my ability to have some influence in this away? Because if I don't know what the players are thinking anymore, then I can't make an informed decision on who I'm going to support. Am I going to support the players and demand that they get better treatment? Am I going to be on the owner's side because I just think the players are being babies? You know what I'm saying? It robs us of the opportunity to make an informed decision on which side we want to be on.
Maybe it's just a bug, but I might have some breaking news because I'm going through the PA website right now with the report cards from 2025.
Yeah.
It's just a bug. Never mind.
Dang it. Why? What happened?
The first 5 times I tried to load the Dallas Cowboys, it kept saying forbidden, and it would not let me load the page. Now it's working. All the other teams are working, so I thought maybe Jerry was behind all this.
Oh, that would have been great.
I wouldn't think he'd be behind it because Jerry's the one over putting mega TVs up in the stadium and
yeah, they had pretty good rankings. I think they were 10th overall.
Yeah,
their
think so.
only thing was their training staff and their travel was pretty bad. But
I would think so. Yeah.
Yep.
And you hear from the players too, like they have a lot of benefits in Dallas. I mean, I think they get paid for like Ubers and meal plans and all sorts of stuff. They try and take care of their players to keep them happy.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not trying to make this bigger than it is. I just, being that we do this show the way that we do, and we're always trying to get to, the truth and all that kind of stuff. I always question moves like this, especially from the NFL, because I think it's become very clear that there's a lot of things that they don't want the fans to know because it affects it affects the bottom line for each of their franchises.
And Nate, he said, Bet Keys gets an annual survey from the union. I'm not in the union. Not in the union. And do NFL teams fly commercial or chartered? It's kind of both, because what happens is they rent the aircraft from an airline. So basically, if you flew from here to, we'll say, from Buffalo to Chicago to San Francisco, chances are that you've been on the plane that the team has been on. So they'll go to an airline, we'll say United, and they'll say, we know you have a hub out of Denver, and we want your contract. So Denver will use United exclusively wherever they fly for that year. So once the plane lands, lets the people off, they clean it, they put it back in service, so you or I can get on it and fly to Duluth, and then when a team is done, I don't know.
Aren't there a few teams that actually own the jet as
yeah,
well? But
Seattle and New England, I know for sure.
Didn't at least one of them have plane issues this year?
Yeah, New England, I think it was. But that was for weather. It wasn't. Actually, no, it was broken. It did have a mechanical. It had a mechanical.
I thought at least one or two teams had to stay on the tarmac for hours.
Yep, it was New England because they had a mechanical on the plane. I remember that. Yep, yeah. And they got in super late, 3 in the morning or something like that. But yeah, no. Where are we? Yeah, Nate, did I answer your question? I hope it did, because they do use the planes that we use. They fly 767s almost always. Sometimes I think the Seattle Seahawks have 747s, the ones with the humpback, the double front. But yeah, that's what they fly.
Appreciate you, DJ. He said he liked and subscribed.
I appreciate you, DJ.
Yeah, definitely appreciate that, man. Yep. Here it is. Okay, thank you very much. So Billy D asked.
He's having a seizure. Okay, go ahead.
He said, should we look into trading Dion? So this has been a huge conversation all this week.
Yeah, you're not going to hear from me. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's start with you. Let's start with you. What you think, bro?
Okay, I'm going to get into this first and foremost. Now,
his contract is not
no,
tradable.
I'm not doing that first. It's not. It's not. However, what's up, Dan?
You know how this whole conversation got started, right?
Wasn't it
I
Matt
was
Perino?
wondering that. Is that what it was?
So
Matt
what
Perino.
happened is there's been more talk amongst smaller creators, people like us,
Yep.
that have kind of floated this idea.
Okay.
But the first big beat reporter to say anything was Matt Perino.
Okay.
And he was just suggesting, he's getting up there in age. You could move on and promote someone like Grable or find someone just to, kind of bring in the future. And he brought it up on a round table that had like 5 or 6 big beat reporters. It was for Spectrum News or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they turned on him so fast. Everyone was arguing hard with him. And that went viral. And then they talked about it on WGR, and they were ripping on Perino.
Oh, did they? I didn't know what their stance was on it.
No one in big media is a fan of this.
Okay,
and it's become very contentious because a lot of fans, once they heard the suggestion, was like, "Oh, that might be interesting."
Well, you know what that is too, and this is not me. I'm not going to go into great time set mode, but this is spawned from people that think they know how to decipher a salary cap and how the contracts work when they really don't. If you go ahead, okay, so let's say this: well, you want to trade Dion Dawkins. I pulled it up just now. If you trade Dion Dawkins this year, or even cut him, you will free up a post June 1. You'll free up $15 million. That sounds great. You incur a $9 million dead cap hit, but $15 million. Ooh, wow, great. But guess what? Post June 1 cut, you have another $6 million next year, and then you have $18 million savings next year. However, what does post June 1 tell you? Do you know what that designation does? It's what it says. So why are we cutting him?
Exactly. At that point, what's the point?
Right,
of
we're cutting him
Yeah.
to make money, but guess what? By then, Justin Jefferson's gone.
Yep.
By then, whoever else you want is gone. Trey Hendrickson,
Yeah.
Max Crosby, all these guys that were like, oh, no, you don't get that money until 6/1.
Yeah.
Even though he's gone today, he's still here until 6/1. And you still incur the salary cap hit going down the line.
Did you hear Jeremy's one idea with that? If they decided to do that post June 1,
What?
Post June 1 trade or cut?
cut
Okay.
or trade, but just to save on cap this year.
Okay.
His idea is he really wants Bean to go into the season with some cap space this year, so that mid-season at trade deadline he has room if he wants to make a trade, because he came on. It might have been on WGR, but he had an interview where he specifically said we looked at Jacoby Myers, but we didn't have the cap space for
Which
it.
is what I've been telling people, but they don't be listening to me. Everybody's, oh, you got levers, you could do this, you could do that. Guess what? But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No,
this is the problem I have with restructures. This is an albatross of them pushing money down the line for how many contracts now? 2?
Yeah.
They've been doing this, pushing him down. So he's at void years of year 34 of his age 34, age 35. 2028, 2029 are void years. He would have been gone. We wouldn't have this issue. I'm not saying he sucks. I'm in no way, shape, or form bagging on Dion Dawkins. But what I'm saying is when you make these kind of contracts and you want to push it down because these are levers you have no more levers. Because guess what? Oh, I'm ranting now.
You sweating, bro?
Yeah. If you cut Dion Dawkins, you say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say, let's just cut ties with him right now. Just get the money.
Okay.
You owe $26 million this year to cut him. And then, it's not over yet, though, because next year you owe another $17 million. The year after that, you owe another $10 million for a guy that's no longer here. You have crippled yourself. You are neutered. You are dead and gone.
But the salary cap is supposed to blow up in like 2029,
They don't even know what
2030.
yeah. By then, Josh is what? 35? He's got 3 kids. He's like, what?
You
Yeah.
hear about the other rule being floated that Some of the GMs around the league are pushing for being able to trade more years of draft picks.
Yes, I did see that.
5 years down the road.
Which the Bills still can't do because we ain't got no money. No,
you know what's hilarious is I think it was Jeremy that floated trade 5 years of draft picks to go up for your man.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Not Tate.
Yep.
Oh my God. What is wrong with this dude?
They love Carnell Tate is his guy. He loves Carnell Tate. They love Carnell Tate.
Why? He's not even that good.
I mean,
I'm not saying he's terrible and he can't play at all. I'm just saying he's not as good as Jeremy thinks he is.
yeah, I don't know. See, that's the thing. We don't know what he is without Jeremiah Smith.
Right.
He might be nice, but I'm not going to trade the next 9 years of my draft to get. Not doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this thing, and people are like, I can create. Okay, you can create. Cause I think it was Dan Mitchell. He created like $80 million on salary cap, but he's like cutting like everybody and restructuring. But then by his logic, if they don't win this year, you know what? He put us in a $60 million hole next year. Where's that money coming from? How are you re-signing anybody? How are you going to get a draft class? You can't because there's no more levers to pull. You got Josh Allen, and that's it because you got rid of Dion Dawkins, you got rid of Terrence Johnson, you got rid of Ed Oliver, you traded Dawson Knox. They're all gone. All these big money guys are gone. So you're going to get rid of Greg Rousseau in the second year of his deal? No, because that's like a $40 million acceleration.
But what if they did though?
We had to trade Josh Allen. We would have to trade Josh Allen just to get a $2 million player. We've maxed out every credit card at this point.
Is blowing a gasket right now. Like this is not like this is this. I not that I enjoy making you mad, but this is just,
you know what'll
like,
really make you
you
mad,
hate
Keys,
this
if
so
you
much.
read Mafia Sports.
I
Report.
saw
was just about to pull it up. Here it is.
I say no, don't.
So it says NFL teams frequently restructure contracts to manage the salary cap, with roughly 77.5% of playoff caliber teams utilizing this mechanism to create immediate cap space, Keyshawn, while non-playoff teams do 54.4% of the time. Do you want to be a non-playoff caliber team, Keyshawn?
We will be if you keep doing this nonsense. You keep doing this nonsense, you will be a non-playoff caliber team. I mean, it is what it is.
You got Josh. You got Josh.
Who is he throwing to? Literally. There will be no reason. We have to play 7-on-7 at this point.
Oh,
we'd be a short-handed goal. They'd be on a power play every game.
But
we had to run. We got 22 players. We had to run twos both ways. Josh Allen playing quarterback, and people wanted to be a linebacker. Could be a linebacker too, because we can't afford no linebackers.
okay,
I'll go play though.
So let me ask you this.
At
So
45 years old,
let's do this, because I think this will help to get us to a point where we can
time to
try
say
and,
laugh. I can't laugh anymore.
right.
No, go ahead.
This will get us to a point where we can try to come together on this, right? So Dank says, what do we do with the 26th pick?
I'm not done ranting about the. No,
No. Here's
I'm
why.
just messing around.
Here's why I bring that up. Like,
I don't know, Dan.
the position the Bills are in this year is one where they have to decide: are they going to piss Keyshawn off and kick the can down the road some more with a bunch of restructures and void years and stuff like that, just to open up cap space for a really, really good player via trade or signing? Or are they going to go your route, which would piss me off, and just go straight draft picks and trying to conserve money and set themselves up for much more cap space in the next 2 years?
Yeah. Do you promise kick the football again?
I do promise.
But yeah, no. Going back to Dion Dawkins, just to close the Dion Dawkins, we're good. I actually wanted to talk about that too.
Yep.
Why it does make sense for us to get rid of Dion Dawkins aside from money.
I got a bunch of stuff on that, so go ahead.
I bet you do. Okay. I don't have but one thing, honestly.
Okay.
But for why it makes sense is it slowly but surely gets us out of the McDermott era. That for me, that's the only thing I could think of. Outside of that,
that's the biggest thing.
Well, could be.
That's another thing that Jeremy floated as well, because he was kind of like one of the big mainstays of the whole McDermott culture, McDermott era type thing, and that would be a move showing not only are you moving on from a lot of staff, but you're also doing a roster changeover at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
What do you have for why it makes sense?
Because Dion Dawkins is not as good as everybody thinks he is, and here's here's what it comes down to. Dion Dawkins is. I'll start with this. So I went through the last 5 years to look at, and we kind of talked about this before, to look at the best pass rushers that he's gone against. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we tried to look at what his production was against good competition, right? I'm going to give you some numbers of his performance from 2021 to 2025. Okay? Now, this is for players who played at least 25% of the team snaps at the tackle position. All right? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go with PFF. I'm going to go with everybody's favorite. I'm going to go with PFF.
Oh, the grades I hope you're using.
That's right. This is the great Jesus of statistical websites. Dion Dawkins sits at 16th amongst all tackles who played at least 25% of the snaps for the 2025 season. 16th. You know, there's a player on the Bills ahead of him. Mm-hmm. Guess where that player sits from the Bills on this list? Dion Dawkins is 16th. This other player,
9th.
Higher.
5th.
Lower.
6th.
6th.
Go ahead.
You know who it is?
Who you got?
Tylen Grable.
Oh,
the guy I've been trying to tell y'all is ready for a starting spot at left tackle.
Yep.
Is the guy that's ranked higher than Dion Dawkins.
Yep. That's
right.
That's when actually I had that as well. The forced contingency plan. I'm sorry, Nady, to go to the rookie. I'm all about getting younger. I think Tylen Gravy, he actually has the chops to do it.
Absolutely. Okay, so 2021, Dion Dawkins allowed 4 sacks. That was 44th amongst tackles. That's 44th out of 85 tackles in the 2021 season. Mm-hmm. 44th amongst tackles that played at least 25% of the snaps. So that doesn't even have to be starters. Tylen Grable wasn't a starter. He's still ahead of Dion Dawkins, right? 2022, he allowed 3 sacks that entire season. That's 23rd. That was better. That's when he started to really step into that. Oh, he's a top 5, top 10, left tackle, make Pro Bowls and all that kind of stuff. 2023 was his best season. He allowed 1 sack that was 3rd amongst 84 tackles. Best season by far. Give him the credit for it. He earned it, mm-hmm. right? 2024, 3 sacks allowed. That was 24th. And then this year, 2025, he allowed 6 sacks. That was 70th out of 89 tackles that played at least 25% of the snaps.
To be fair, how many of those sacks came against Atlanta and Denver? He got destroyed.
Right.
He got destroyed. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that's why he said he wants to lose weight and get down to 310. I'm like, well, he said 320, I think. I'm like, what? You're listed at 320 now.
Yeah.
What are you, 340? I could see that.
He did look heavier.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But, if you're listed at 320, what are you telling us? What were you really? 360, 350?
But what worries me is if you get down to 320 and you lose that weight, how are you going to look in the run game? Are you going to be able to move men like you were before?
Yeah, I'm hoping that he was 320 and had a baby. Hoping.
Another point that you guys haven't brought up yet is whether he loses weight or not, it won't change the fact that he was by far one of the worst tackles in the league with penalties, especially false starts this year. Absolutely. If you look at the rankings in the league, it is not good. In fact, I think he has more false starts than the entire rest of the line combined this year.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. This is... No.
Yeah, I mean that's very well possible because he had false start to false start to false start.
I think it was the first 4 or 5 games of the year. It was every game he was getting one.
Maybe I'm reading this wrong on the website here, but it says he's only got one penalty.
No.
Yeah, I know he's got. Oh wait, declined. So the penalty is the total of declined and offset penalties.
Are you on PFF?
Yeah.
All
right. So the other part of this too that I wanted to just get out there so that you guys can understand while you're looking at the sack,
10 penalties.
That's what I thought it was because I had heard that earlier.
Yeah, 15 last year.
Right. Right.
I like what No Bones is saying.
Which is what?
He said our line would be, if we move down from Dawkins right now, Grable, Anderson, Van Prangranger, Torrance, Brown.
Yeah. I'm worried about that left side.
Alec Anderson at guard? I mean, I guess I could tolerate it. I'd want to draft a guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd want to draft a guard.
Would you be open to them keeping Dawkins and telling him, look, I know you love the tackle position, but we really need to get Grable in there, move into guard?
I mean, honestly, for me, I don't think you want to get rid of Dion Dawkins. Well, not you. I know you do, but I don't think getting rid of Dion Dawkins is smart in the financial sense. I don't think it's smart to restructure him because we want to move on from him. Eventually, I think. And you're gonna have a rookie, a first time center more than likely. You're gonna have Alec Anderson, who at guard, it's weird. I don't know how much I really feel good about him and Van Prangranger together immediately. More so Alec Anderson because he's really a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Dawkins does have the right to ride off into the sunset. He hasn't been horrible, but I just don't like the chasm that it opens up and without the money to replace him adequately. That's what fears me the most about it.
Yeah, I think at this point, I'm okay dealing with the financial backlash of getting rid of Dion Dawkins because of how the cap has been moving the last couple of seasons. I don't think it would be a massive overtaking like it was with Stephon Diggs.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
From that.
Right. But I mean, again, for me, like this is who Dion Dawkins is, right? I told you how many sacks he had each of the last 5 seasons. This season in particular, there's only one player out of the top 11 tackles listed that gave up more than 2 sacks the entire season. Just one. That's Jake Matthews for the Falcons. Do we know why that is? Because they had a young quarterback holding on to the ball. Right? Furthermore, one of the guys that is ahead of Dion Dawkins, I'm sorry. Excuse me. The highest amount of pressures allowed by anyone ahead of Dion Dawkins was 26 by Trent Williams, who was 37 years old. That puts Dion Dawkins 7 pressures over anybody else on the list ahead of him on PFF for 2025. So not only is he towards the back half of the bunch in terms of giving up sacks, but his rankings and pressures, 2021, he was 42nd in the NFL. 2022, he was 52nd in the NFL. 2023, he was 54th. 2024, he was 33rd. 2025, he's 62nd. I don't want to see another year of decline before I get to the point where I'm just like, okay, enough is enough. That could get my quarterback killed. So financials, I get it, but I'll put it like this. If the Bills were willing to take the hit for Stephon Diggs, then they should be willing to take the hit for Dion Dawkins, who's primarily responsible for the safety of their quarterback's blind side.
I think the difference between Stephon Diggs and Dion Dawkins is they could do it then. Now if they do it, they just decimated their cap. I mean, you have to find a replacement for not Dion Dawkins because that would be Tyler Grable. But you have to find a backup unless you're going to have Alec Anderson, in which case you got to find a guy. It's a domino effect. But in what you're talking about, this 1 year that we just passed is a not an anomaly, but there's a reason why his numbers are the way they are. Beforehand, Josh was scrambling a lot. He was getting out of there. This year, he was not for whatever reason. I know they say the foot. Maybe he's just getting older. Maybe he didn't have it. Maybe something was up with the offensive scheme. But there was no insulation. There was nothing that could prevent Dawkins from being on an island. They blame Shakir for that chip against, who was it? I forget who it was. Was it Benito or whatever the case may be? Chipping him wide, that makes no sense.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was true, but why was Dawkins in a full sprint looking at Josh Allen straight up? You know, he knows he was out of shape. He knows he was out of position. He knows that he got sloppy last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that will show a 32-year-old, 31-year-old veteran, you got to do better. And I think he can do better in Buffalo, especially a year where, in my mind, defensive guy, we got some things to do on the other side. You know, we got.
That's what this is about. I get
Well,
it.
it's
I
that
get it.
end. I mean, if you look at the wide receiver, you want to try to look at. You look at, you know, you want a nose tackle. You want a safety. You want these things that you could possibly get if you just figure out how to use this Dawkins character the way they used him before. Josh Allen, how's your foot? You know, maybe we got to do more naked bootleg. Maybe we got to do more play action rollout. Maybe we got to do more RPOs, things like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean Josh isn't going to get hit, but it just means it's not going to be a negative factor on the football game. Almost everybody McDermott drafted, I'm good on except Josh. Man, Trade James Cook too, man. Jeez,
Who said that?
Comedian Mo Brown. He doesn't like Shakir. He doesn't like. He said trade James Cook, get rid of everybody.
Andreessen.
Yeah, well, Andreessen, that's fine. I mean,
Are you a Bills fan, bro? You talking about trading James Cook? Are you a Bills fan?
He just doesn't like anybody that they have. He wants a whole fresh start.
Right, Laura? Like what?
Yeah,
What's going on here? He might be a Patriots fan, just trying to like, yeah, y'all should get rid of the whole team, get rid of all of them. Matter of fact, Josh Allen is terrible too. You get rid of him.
And that's the thing, you know, people Cook fumble, okay, but people that say that fumble was the single reason we lost that game is lunacy. I heard that all week. Josh had four fumbles, 4 turnovers, and the one Cook fumble was the reason why we lost. Like, sole reason, the biggest reason. How? I mean, yeah, you got to hold on to the ball, but when Singleton puts his helmet on the ball, you're not holding on to that ball.
Yeah,
it's not happening. Yeah. It was held the correct way. He just happened to get in there. It happens to everybody. So I mean, it's just like. You know, I mean, I know he's joking, but the people I'm hearing are not joking. The people I'm hearing on podcasts and radios are saying, Cook is the reason we lost the game.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. And it's not because I'm a Cook fan. I'm a Cook stan, whatever you want to call me. It's just not true. How many times have we... I knew he was laughing at me. That's like, I'm hoping he's laughing at something he sees.
No, this is like, dude, the way you said it was like just a single tear
Just
falling
one
down
tear.
your eyes.
Listen to me, guys. It's not true. He said he's serious, so he's good on Cook. He wants to get rid of Cook.
Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna be that guy to be like, well, who are you gonna go get? I don't really get into all of that kind of stuff.
Who are you gonna go get? Yeah, I mean, I will be that guy. Who are you gonna go get?
He said running backs grow on trees.
What?
Yeah.
No, bro. No, I think the landscape of running backs in general right now should tell you they do not grow on trees.
When was the last time before Cook that the Bills had a number 1 rusher?
Thurman?
Tell me they grow on trees.
Was he ever number 1?
He was MVP once, so I'm thinking it definitely was him.
Tell me they grow on trees.
Yeah, I mean, you had to trade for LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
And he never led when he was on the Bills.
And wait. He said so Shady said Cook can't make anyone miss. Did he not see the Jets game last season or this past season?
Whatever.
Did he not see the jump cuts? Did he not Cook?
I never want to hear comedian Mo Brown say anything bad about anything he says ever. Ever. When he says something about Josh, you better be quiet.
I mean,
he can't be wrong. He can't miss.
You can have an opinion. It's tough. It's tough because you like here anyway. I like people to be able to support it with objective information. Like I don't think it equates and when I think objective, I have conversations with NFL players. You know what I'm saying? Like guys who played the game, guys who played, you know what I mean? Like you played for many years. Like for me, I'm thinking about what they would say when they heard that. I get what Shady is saying. Maybe he's comparing Cook to him. I think it's okay for Shady to do that. Mm-hmm. If Shady says he can't make somebody miss, well, all right. I mean, maybe if compared to you, but we've seen on tape.
That's why we called you stop on dime.
Cut on dime, yeah.
You're probably one of the best ever.
Exactly.
Well, Barry Sanders, you're one of the best, but It's like Jordan saying everybody that's not as good as me is a scrub.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No.
You can't.
Well,
say
you have
it.
to remember where Shady's coming from too. He stands with his boys, and right now he really feels the Philly team, and Saquon is his guy.
Oh,
So-
because my man Cook did his thing. He did his thing, and now Saquon is like, eh.
Right. Saquon took a bit of a backseat this year, and he's probably trying to prop him back up a bit. So
Yeah, you go ahead and try that with the guy over in Pittsburgh or something. Just stay in Pennsylvania somewhere. Yeah, no. What did I have? I had a question here. Oh,
I know you got some stuff.
While I'm talking about podcasts, I heard somebody ask a question, and they said, they said, who's the biggest defensive disappointment this year? And I said to myself, I know the answer to this, but the answer that I had was the answer that nobody had. As a matter of fact, I heard that the answer I had was just the wrong answer, period, unequivocally.
The biggest defensive disappointment?
Yeah, so who would you say, Dan? Who would you say is the biggest defensive disappointment this year?
player-wise or just a general?
Not McDermott. You can't say McDermott.
Dang, that's where I was
the
going.
The biggest disappointment for me, that's really tough. I mean, there was a lot of players that I had some disappointment in, and I don't want to rag on these guys because I've never played the game. I'm nothing of an athlete like they are. These guys are all in the NFL for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to be a tie, probably, for Taylor Rapp and Terrell Bernard. Based on the seasons that they had last year, I didn't consider them elite players at their position, but the seasons that they had last year, we thought it would at least be serviceable. They'd hold their own going into this year. And both of them, every time they were on the field, our defense was considerably worse.
Okay,
I like it.
I'll accept your thought process. Now, this is why I say that, because for me, Taylor Rapp was horrible as soon as he got here. You know that. I've been saying
Of course,
it.
Yeah.
So you can't disappoint me anymore than I already was when they signed him.
Right.
Terrell Bernard, if you look at his numbers, Terrell Bernard actually was about where he was in 2024. So I didn't have really any other expectations. Was he ever a superstar? Was he tracking to be a superstar? No. They propped him up to be one when he was a captain.
Mm-hmm.
But
didn't he at least have better numbers with the rush game, though? He had more pressures and sacks, and they had him doing a little bit more stuff that he was better at last year.
They had him doing a little more stuff that he was better at. I mean, his numbers between 25 and 24 are comparable. They say he was hurt in 25, and it wasn't like he just fell off a cliff.
Right.
For me, well, what do you say?
No, you go first.
Well, I got an answer. I got a whole write-up.
Oh, you got a whole deal. Okay. Biggest defensive disappointment. Oh, man.
The chat's also chiming in if you guys.
Oh yeah, they said Landon Jackson. Whoa.
Yeah.
Landon Jackson. I see a lot of Teron, Daquan, Groot.
Oliver needs to stop getting hurt.
Yep.
Sanders. I think I'm gonna have to agree with Bones. I think it is Groot. I mean, he was number one in pressures the year before he got the deal, and then his first year into the new deal, he's putting up goose eggs all over the place. And look, I haven't heard anything about injuries with him. And to me, the defensive help that they put onto this line with him should have helped him. The penetration that Dion Walker was getting, the help from the other side in Bosa, and even though he wasn't getting sacks in certain games, even with Mike Hoyt on the field, you still saw those guys at times getting pressure. That should have opened some stuff up for Rousseau at some point. And it just never really seemed like Rousseau was that guy that you saw almost getting to the quarterback like every single time. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not, I know what Groot is, but I've also seen a version of Groot with a higher pedigree with the name Bosa on his back come in and look better in the first two games than Groot has almost since his first year here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see Groot popping like he should for a guy that's going to be getting paid $19 million a season. So for me, it has to be him.
Okay. For me,
oh boy,
there's no other answer for me but Bosa. There's no other answer for me but Bosa.
Wow. Billy D said that too.
This is the reason why. The reason why we brought Bosa in for what? Because we had no pass rush. He didn't even, let alone my friend who owes me wings. Don't think I forgot.
Ooh.
He didn't get the 14 sacks. My friend guaranteed he was going to get.
I'm so glad I didn't take that bet.
I was like, I'm not worried. I don't care.
Yeah.
But he didn't get that. He didn't even lead the team in sacks this year. Furthermore, in the last 9 games of the season, he had 1 sack, including the playoffs. Nothing in the playoffs. He was supposed to be the playoff wizard we were trying to bubble wrap him for. Everybody said, just let him play in the. Okay, he had 13 hits. He had 4 hits in the last 9 games of the season. He had 14 of his 36 hurries in the last 9 games. 2 batted balls. He had a 33% missed tackle rate. He forced 5 fumbles in the first 3 games of the season. He had 1 in the last 14. You gave him $12 million. So his cap hit is higher than Groot's. What are we doing? Yeah. I mean, and I get it. I get it. Bosa, there are guys that are worse than, I'm not saying he was, see, that's the thing, but that's when I say the disappointment in my mind, what I'm thinking is a guy that I'm like, okay, you brought him here for a reason. This is your defined role. Did you do it? Ogunjobi, okay, maybe because I said this is the dumbest signing we had this year. Maybe because, I didn't have any, I told you guys, Groot is not getting you 10 sacks. I've said it since we've had the show. He's not doing 10 sacks. Ed Oliver didn't play. He looked otherworldly when he played. Landon Jackson, okay. And TJ Sanders, I was flamed to some degree for not liking that pick because they traded up 23 picks to get him.
I hated that pick.
I hated the pick too. They traded up dramatically to get this guy, and he was unplayable at times. He didn't even play in his position because there was no point. So for my thing, when I say Bosa was supposed to be that savior we were looking for as a baseline, and it just didn't happen.
Okay. Let's do this. So the call line has been open all episode. We have eliminated the complications from
Who's
from
like
last
the hell
time.
with y'all?
So I know it's pretty much what it is now. But so when you call in now, there won't be this delay of us talking and it taking forever to get to the person. It's going to be instantaneous now. You'll be able to hop right on your device, and as soon as we bring you into the queue room, you can be watching the show and hearing us live. And then as soon as we bring you on, same deal. You'll be hearing us live. There shouldn't be any echo or anything like that. And it's been tested and all that kind of stuff, so I can say it with confidence. So by all means, call in and look. Here's what we really want to hear. We want to hear your justifications for some of the players that you just put on this list. These are defensive players that could potentially end up in this new system. So why do you really want them gone? Why are you choosing the names? Let's hear some justifications.
I hate him so much.
Oh, Spin? Yeah. Yeah, Spin deserves every bit of hatred. He says eliminated those complications. So what are you going to do about the new complications? What? Oh, in terms of what? Firing Sean?
No, I think he's talking about
He's
the
talking
team of
about-
cores. Now he's talking about the call-in line.
Yeah. I told him I'm gonna keep fighting. I've been working out the kinks.
Yep. So Tommy says, question. Was the coaching to blame for player development? I believe it had something to do with it.
Oh, absolutely. And no, this is not going to be one coach. I put the coaching on the coaching staff, the auxiliary staff, the positional coaches. You're going to come and tell me that you got Khalil Shakir, you got Keon Coleman, you got Hardman, you got Palmer, you got Curtis Samuel. You got Shavers. Who's the guy I'm missing? I'm thinking about Elijah Moore. All come in here and do worse than they've done before. All of them were worse. You have all your coaches didn't play the position they're coaching. How'd that look? Ronald Curry was a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
He's your quarterback coach. Why? Why is your running back coach not a former running back? Why is your wide receiver coach not a former wide? Why is your line coach? Well, never mind. He was, but he was a lineman. I think he was. So I mean, but the list goes on and on and on. Yes, they're coaching because they're looking out of a manual. Remember years ago when I told you I realized that at a later age that I didn't know basketball the way I should have because the coaches I had didn't know basketball the way they should have.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew how to scout. I never knew how to watch film because they didn't know how to do it. They had that pamphlet, and they're looking at, okay, this is the lesson plan for the week. No, teach me how to play the game. I need to play the way I'm supposed to learn how to play it. And when you got a guy that's never lived, breathed, and slept in that position at that level, you're doing a disservice, especially when you got a Keon Coleman, you got a Taylor Rapp, you got Dion Walker, TJ. They're young. They need somebody that knows how to get them to where they need to be. Everybody talk about Joe Brady at LSU with the goggles and the door. Where was that with these guys? They don't think of that stuff.
I promise you, this is not just for
be contrarian.
Drama.
That's what we do.
No.
Oh
no, that's not why I'm doing this. That's not why I have this opinion. I think I disagree in a way that is still agreeing with you guys, but just we're not saying the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think the complications with the team has always been using guys out of position and using guys in the wrong way. So if that's included in the concept of coaching, then yes, I fully agree with both of you from that standpoint of, you look at Isaiah Hodgins and how he was used in New York versus how he was used here. I mean, very big difference. He showed that he could be productive and be depended on as a wide receiver in the NFL, in an offense, and in a playoff game in which I think he led the team in receptions, if not tied for the lead on the team in receptions in that win over the Vikings. So, to me, it really comes down to understanding the best fit for players, because I think we have had guys like Babbage who can develop the secondary and then develop the linebackers when he was working with them, and then develop some guys on the defense when he was the defensive coordinator. I think we did have some guys that showed that they could do that, but not all of those guys were used in the best possible ways.
Yeah,
what I mean?
We saw, that's essentially what I'm saying. You need to know how to develop guys, but you also need to identify where they should be. For instance, how am I never played safety a day in my life? I told you guys, Cole Bishop don't suck. I told you guys, he's a player. And they're like, no, he's out of position. I called it. He's out of position. As soon as they put him in the right place, look what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the best defense player we had. I mean, you saw him go from boys to men right before your eyes in 2025.
For sure.
And you need other guys. I'm not saying Keon Coleman, but obviously it's not working on outside. Brady, where's your motions to get him on the slot? Get him advantageous position, but you want to be so vanilla. You want to just line up and go. I mean, yeah, I know McDermott, he's conservative, but there are a lot of conservative coaches. You have to be able to get plays. You got to be smart enough to know how to get what you want out of what they want. And that's the thing that drives me nuts about moving Brady up. Is I don't think that was all forced upon him. I think he likes some of that, because you heard what he said when they asked him about the screens. He's like, screens ain't going nowhere. I was like, oh, tell me all I need to know. Screens ain't going nowhere. So that tells me that you liked what you saw.
Yeah. Mo says Pagula couldn't trust McDermott anymore.
The chat is arguing over who should call in. Someone needs to step up and make a call and voice their opinion. Don't be scared.
Yeah, you got we'll say until 7:20 to call in.
Okay, I'm with that. Spin says you all need to figure out a middle finger emoji that pops up when people hit the dislike button. No, because then we'd see 60 of them from you.
Yes. Repeatedly.
Yeah. Mo says if Darnold can win, Josh can win. I mean, not necessarily. I think we've seen what it takes for a guy like Darnold to win. He had to have an elite defense going against a quarterback that was in his first ever super high leverage situation like that, playing in his first Super Bowl. From what I heard, now he's been playing with an injury too. He played that game with an injury where, you know, because when I was at Coach D's house and we were playing cards and stuff like that, but I remember Coach D saying like pretty much the whole game, like why he don't just take off and run? Why he don't just run?
You could tell he couldn't go, and
Maybe that's why.
Does.
Yeah, he did it against us. I'm like, yo, he looked like Josh Allen against Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Like it was crazy how he went off in that game.
That's where the comparisons came from.
Yeah. I even went off to say like maybe the coaches told him just don't make any mistakes, let the defense carry. I mean, you could tell that they were trying to win it with defense in the first quarter, especially that first series where they were undercutting routes and all that kind of stuff. They were really trying to get force a turnover and get play with a lead, but
they were getting 25 destroyed.
right. So yeah, man, I think with where the Bills are now, and this is the other thing I wanted to bring up too, because I don't think it's just Dion Dawkins. With where the Bills are now, I think we got a caller. We got a caller. Let's bring him in. Where's the folk? Okay. All right.
Nico.
Maybe. You're on with Post Podium Podcast. What's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh God, thank God you guys got fixed up the kinks in this thing, man. I was like, what's going on with these guys, man?
I know.
We trying,
we got it though.
Hey, you guys are better than this. What's going on?
Thank you.
No worries. Hey, I gotta agree with Keys with the biggest defensive disappointment was Bosa by far, I think, because the points that he brought up is the same points I was yelling on my radio when I was driving my kid back home from school. I was like, yes, he's telling the same thing I was saying. For what he got paid for, what he was supposed to do. We're all talking about him bubble wrap him for the playoffs, and he just he was just bad. Yeah. I was like, man, what we paid for it. For me, that's my disappointment. And I agree with a little bit with Schmidt with his Taylor Rapp and Bernard, but those guys were injured most of the time.
Yeah,
Rapp went on injured reserve. So, I know he was bad before that, but still, I mean, he didn't really have. Could he have overcome the deficiencies? Who knows? But he was just on injured reserves, and then Bernard was just hurt like half the year, if not more. So it would kind of be hard for me to say, yeah, those guys were awful. But yeah, I got to agree with him with the whole Bosa defensively. But and also, I know you guys talked about this earlier. The referee, how he called in and had that thing overturned.
Yeah.
Imagine if he would have done that with our cats.
We would have bum rushed this hotel, man.
for sure. But yeah, I don't. And also want to bring up the Dawkins situation. I don't think trading them or cutting them and opening a void just for the sake of opening a void will be a smart thing to do. Because the money wise, it's a kind of wash, don't you guys think?
The money
at the end of the day.
Well, no. Okay, I won't say that. How do you feel that? Why you say that? Why you think it's a wash? Why is it big on me when I'm saying this?
Because you the money guy.
Yeah, I think it's a wash because from what I heard, I'm not too random. I don't remember the amount, but said it's like you cut them, it frees up $18 million, but if you keep them or extend up, you keep up like 10, 15 or $14 million, about that much. Like I said, don't quote me on the numbers, but it was something similar to that.
No, that's okay. No, well, this is the thing. If you cut them, you'll free up $15 million, we'll say. But the only way you can free up that $15 million is if you have a post-June 1 cut. And what that means is you're going to miss the whole first, second, and third wave of free agency waiting for that money to clear. Mm-hmm. So you'll have the $16 million, but you'll have nobody to spend it on, and you'll have a void next year and the year after that you created by letting them go when you could just keep them. That's the dilemma with Dawkins. If you cut him pre-6-1, that you would have the money, but unfortunately he's $24 million in the hole if you cut him before 6-1. So you have to add $24 million to the $7 million we're already in the hole. So just with cutting him, we'd be $31 million in the hole before we do anything else.
Oh yeah, I got it. I agree. I totally agree with your point on that. So I haven't heard that logic amongst the other reporters. They were talking about the whole Dawkins situation. So that was a good point. And my last thing, I don't want to take up most of your time, just in case somebody else wants to call in. I know you guys were going back and forth about wasting draft picks to move up in the draft pick to get your wide receiver, and then one of you other guys said, no, let's use that to trade or for a wide receiver one or whatever. Is there a happy medium in between those two where you can get the best of both worlds?
Yeah.
Or is it you just gotta give into one?
No, go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, I mean that's the big reason why I brought up the AJ Brown trade, because he's only going for a second round pick, and I think with the Bills' track record of second round picks, you could probably afford to give up that pick and go with your late first for whatever you want to upgrade, whether it's drafting another receiver to go with AJ Brown or getting somebody on defense. It gives you that flexibility to where you've got a bona fide guy that you can depend on your team for a pick that really has, aside from James Cook and who else? I mean, what was Cybo? Cybo was a second round pick too. So I mean, you got two to show for 9 years worth of drafting. It's
I mean,
7 bad picks.
It's just not as fun when we do a draft show. That's really all it is. But I mean, if you look at getting AJ Brown, that's a happy medium. You don't want to trade, the first and third or an exorbitant amount of picks for one guy. When you don't see, my reservation is I don't know what Joe Brady's going to do. If I saw his offense and said, "Oh man, if they had AJ Brown, grab him," But also people talk about Marvin Harrison. Okay, but I don't want to give up 2-3 picks for him when he was a first rounder 2 years ago. You can give him a second, the same second, if you really want to have a cost control contract. BTJ, if you want to, you can do a second probably.
Yeah.
And you could still draft, Ted Hurst or Ty Montgomery or the little speedster from Georgia. You could get away with a lot of stuff. You don't have to marry yourself to all these names when we don't know what our offensive coordinator / head coach is even going to do with them. Mm-hmm. That's my fear. If I said, oh man, he got Josh Allen throwing the ball downfield, but Matt Collins can't get to the ball over and over and over and over. You're like, oh, we definitely need speed to fit in this roster, fit there. But do you want to pay? And this is, I put in the Discord because I knew I wasn't losing my mind, but AJ Brown was actually almost exclusively a slot in college. So do you want to pay the $40 million, whatever he's making, $35 million for another slot guy? You got Shakir you just paid. It would be an upgrade, but now what do we do with Kincaid? Or
I don't know if I would look at it like that.
What I'm saying is,
you had me right up until you called him a slot receiver.
No, I didn't call him. I said that's what he was in college. I said, is that what you're going to do with him? Because that's where he made his money. You gonna put him on the outside?
No, you talking about that's where he made his money in the NFL?
No, in college. That's where he got his draft pick.
He's been in the NFL for many years.
That doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is,
it does matter.
No, it doesn't, because he can do it. Is what I'm saying. And what Joe Brady likes to do is run the middle of the field. He likes the seams. He likes running tight ends. He likes the tight stuff. He looks like he ignores the outside. Now, is he going to do it with AJ Brown?
No, AJ Brown is by NFL standards. AJ Brown is not quick enough to play the slot position in the NFL.
I get that. But what I'm saying is AJ Brown on the outside, is Joe Brady going to use him? Is he going to change his philosophy to use him? We had speedsters on the outside. He didn't care about going deep with him on the speed. So what are you going to do with AJ Brown is my question. He might be good with him. I get what
you're saying, but you don't trade for a guy like AJ Brown to not use him. And I guess
know that's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, right. But again, like if that logic holds, then if the Bills do trade for him, that means they are going to use him. So it takes the floor off of the argument of, well, how are they going to use him? If they get the guy to come here and play as an outside receiver, because he's been very successful in the NFL as an outside receiver, same thing for Justin Jefferson and any other successful outside wide receiver we get. If they've made a name for themselves and they are a top tier wide receiver playing on the outside, I can't imagine Joe Brady in his first year of head coaching is going to look at AJ Brown and say, "You're our new slot receiver." I can't see it.
I just don't know what Joe Brady. You giving him more credit. So okay. Before we go, this is actually another topic I had. I need you to do the same thing you did last time.
Okay.
Because this goes perfectly into that. This is even better transition to my Reese T transitions.
Okay.
I need you to talk me into Joe Brady as a head coach, because I remember this handsome gentleman over here. I'm on that side, but this guy. He said when we hired Ken Dorsey.
Uh-huh.
I said, what are we doing? Ken Dorsey, okay, we're screwed, we're done. You're like, brother, it's all not lost. They fire him, they got Joe Brady. Joe Brady does this, he does that, he does this. I'm like, okay, all right, cool, fine.
I did say that.
Now, talk me into what happens with Joe Brady, because do we go with Jim Leonard? Do we go with Pete Carmichael? Do we have to start over again? Are you okay with going to defensive minded coach again, or is Joe Brady going to be great?
So what makes this tough is all of this is about Josh Allen right now, and you cannot go backwards from that, right? So the Joe Brady hire, from what I've heard so far from reporters and inside sources and all that kind of stuff, it really comes off as a player's coach type of hire, right? This is a guy that's going to change the atmosphere. You've heard Brandon Beane talk about the energy in the room and how that affects the players. So if I'm going to make a case to say that Joe Brady is going to be successful, then I would instantly point at what happened with the Sabres as an example of what can happen when the atmosphere is changed for the better for the players, right? On top of that, I think we also know about this team that they are very emotionally driven. And when they're perceived as underdogs, they tend to get up for those games and play better. Why? Because you doubted us. Now we're going to show you, right? But the other aspect of this, as far as Joe Brady being a success, is I think he not only is surrounded by great coaching, just around him, but I think he's got the best quarterback in the NFL to support him on the field. If Joe Brady draws up a play that doesn't look the greatest, as long as you've got players on the field that can make it work, and you're not bashing Josh when he comes back on the sideline saying, why didn't you follow my play? I think you're going to be just fine. You know what I'm saying? So what sucks about this for Joe Brady is a lot of his successes will get covered by Josh Allen's play, and a lot of his failures will get covered by Josh Allen's play. So realistically, this is kind of it's kind of a win-win and a lose-lose for Joe Brady, depending on what aspect of success or failure you want to talk about with Joe Brady. The weight of this more so falls on Brandon Beane than anybody else. So I would almost say I'm not worried at all about the successes or failures of Joe Brady, because at the end of the day, what really matters is what they put around Josh Allen. If they put some talent around Josh Allen, then Joe Brady is going to look like a very successful coach. He's going to take this team to places that Sean McDermott could never, because that level of talent that we needed this whole entire time, somehow Joe Brady is able to convince Brandon Beane to go get. Do you know what I'm saying? Or it could turn out to be a situation where Brandon Beane just doesn't. He goes with the same, status quo of, well, we're going to get budget guys or whatever. And Joe Brady's probably going to look worse, because you're expected to be the guy that gets us over the hump. So it's hard to. And I know it sucks that I'm like towing the company line on this, and it's not really the company line, but I don't have a way to make a good case that can't be negated by what I would say to make a case for this being a bad hire. You know what I'm saying? It's tough to go both ways without knowing what the roster is just yet. If I'm gonna make a case for, you said just Joe Brady? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So if I'm going to make a case for him, doing well, I think it would be that. I think it's the talent that Josh has around him, the freedom that Josh will have to orchestrate some things on the field, and the environment change for these players that loosens up that tightness that Sean McDermott would put on them in playoff games and high leverage situations that would cause the players to play tight. Because I have talked to Coach D about this extensively, and that is a very big deal when it comes to players. What their coach's vibe is rubs off on the players all the time in the NFL, and it is a very big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I give him credit for the Jim Leonard hire. And he hired John Fox, you think, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's two notches on his belt for me.
Yeah.
So I think we'll go from there and see what kind of influence he has. Now, if he's a not sit back and let it happen kind of coach, but kind of a, I truly value your opinion. I like your philosophy. If you can make it work, then I think we'll be successful. I think if you decided to get worried about the unknown, which is what you hire other people for. You vet your people that you hire. You vet the interviews, and you say, you know what, I feel confident in you, and I'm hiring you not to be my friend, not to be somebody a yes man. I'm hiring you to be the light in the unknown. I think we'll be fine. What do we have? We have a couple more comments here.
Yeah, I wanted to get to this
Real
question
quickly.
Yep, sure.
I just wanted to give a quick, huge shout out to Nico for calling in the last few episodes. We
Yes.
really appreciate it. You're a real one. Keep them coming. We love talking with you.
Vu, you heard
100%.
that? He gave you no kudos, Vu. No kudos to you.
Dad, you gonna push Smitty on the spot like that now?
That's right.
We're purposely making Vu an enemy of you. That way he can be an enemy for everybody on the show.
That's right.
Actually, I think he likes you. I
Boo,
don't
I
think
still
he-
love you.
Let's see. Jason Kelsey called out Izzy Brown this week, said he gets in his feelings and the game suffers. Might agree with this year. The Bills don't have a record of feeding their wide receivers. Now, that might change with a superstar on the roster, but it's not proven yet. See, that's the thing that I'm scared of. Because I just have to see it. I really have to see it. I'm not saying that he's not. I don't want to make a $40 million investment in a guy that I don't know what we're paying for, Bosa. Obviously they're on different stages of their career, but it's just it's tough when you have the same stench of the organization, that the regime that was still there, Brandon Beane and Joe Brady, and we saw Joe Brady's offense.
Yeah.
And he says, I like that, and Beane even said that's Joe Brady's offense. No, I need the other Joe Brady's offense.
Right.
But yeah, no, there was another one. Do you think Keon Coleman will be on the roster this upcoming season?
Yes.
I do.
Yep.
I do.
Yep. Really quick, the Bills are trading for Chris Olave or Marvin Harrison and maybe Jordan Addison. We need to get some dogs on defense. I don't think they're going to trade for any of those players, to be quite honest. I think the cost that it would take to get all three of those players, and didn't they just extend Olave?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they just extended Olave, so that eliminates being able to get him for any reasonable amount of draft picks and compensation.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison is doable, but I don't want him with the wide receiver coach again. Actually, it's funny about I did reading on him and his knocks. You know what they are?
What?
He's too quiet. He's too businesslike.
He's soft.
They said he's too all about his
No,
business.
I'm telling you from the inside, he's soft.
Which
Well,
are we
yeah.
talking about the coach or Harrison?
No, we're talking about Harrison.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I never liked him, but what I'm saying is his dad said, request a damn ball, speak up, be a diva. That's what his dad said.
I
but
get it.
they said his teammates said he doesn't speak. He's all about business. He doesn't joke. He doesn't laugh. You don't even know he's in the room. He's just there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
What I've heard is in practice, he's a beast.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when he gets on that field and he's playing against the other team's corners, in a real opponent, he shrinks. He shrinks. So it's probably a mental thing for him, but he's got the athleticism, he's got the size, he's got the speed to be a really good receiver. Somebody's just gonna have to find a way to bring that out of him.
Don't let him go to New England. You put Holland and Diggs next to him, and they are going to be talking him up all game.
Oh,
That's a great
him
point.
and Hollins?
That's a
Oh.
great point.
Him and Hollins would be nice. That'd be nice.
All they would need to do is get Little Dury on that roster too, and the three of them would get that man going.
Oh boy.
Crazy.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Crazy. All right. We got anything else before we get out of here?
Was going to answer that question.
Oh,
quick.
this one. Oh no, not that one. Is there another one?
Yeah.
All love, Nico. All love.
Olave's on. He's on his fifth year option.
Oh, okay.
Also, you're talking about sliding into the role of New England and being that guy and being too quiet. All you need to open up and be boisterous is that Reese T. That's all you need, because you know why? Maybe he's not healthy enough. Maybe he's not refreshed. Maybe he's not hydrated.
It could be that.
But Reese T would fix all these things. It's amazing what Reese T does for you. How do I know? I drank the stuff. Look at me. I haven't slept in a week. I'm still here. Because it's 2 parts healthy. It's 1 part delicious, 1 part refreshing. It keeps you up at night When you want to be, of course. If you want to go to sleep, it does that too. Don't ask me how. It's magic.
This is too good. This tea is too good.
The tea is too good. It knows what your brain wants it to do before it does it. Head over to Reed's Tea. Let them know what kind of reads you want the brain to do what it's supposed to do, all right?
Oh, my God.
You didn't hear that from me.
Do we have another caller? Is this another caller?
Uh-oh.
You want to get somebody in real quick?
Well, was he going to talk about Reed's Tea?
Let's find
Because he got to talk about Reed's Tea, because if he doesn't, I'll be disappointed.
Wait. I don't have a button to unmute him.
They blocked this, I don't know what that's about.
No, get that out of there.
If you dry, get some lotion. If you thirsty, get some Reed's Tea. But you know what you need to do there? Click the link in the description below. You ain't hear this from me, but let them know that Post Podium Podcast sent you.
Take a bow, bro. Take a bow. Great job. As always, wonderful job doing the read for Reed's Tea. We got to figure this out. I know Rich is jealous at High Mike High Tech. Like, damn, can I get something like that? Like, you just squeeze me in the little clothes that y'all be doing. I get like 10 seconds out of y'all.
We got you.
Yay. All right. Lot of good stuff coming up for the Post Podium Podcast. But first and foremost, we got to get to this music.
Laura said if that was Boo, he's going to be so
That's what I'm thinking, because I can't make this up. I saw it in the queue, and I brought the queue up, and the little black line that it has where it shows that the person is muted.
Yeah, to bring him in.
Yeah, that wasn't there, so I couldn't unmute it so that we could hear him.
Whoever used it probably used the wrong link, because remember earlier when I was testing it, I used the wrong link and it came in, but it didn't work.
No, they wait. Post Podium Podcast, who we talking to?
What's good, fellas?
Who we talking to?
It's Billy D.
Oh, what up, Billy D? What's good?
My guy.
What's happening?
We gotta make it quick, because Key's got to get out of here.
Here, I'm gonna make this real quick.
All right.
I got my popcorn ready, and I just need Brady to do what he's supposed to do. That's it. Because if he can't do what he's supposed to do, we got to get his ass out of there.
Yeah.
Just do your job and keep it moving. That is it.
That is it. I love it. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for calling.
Brothers, y'all have a good one.
All right, talk to
You
you
too.
later, man.
All right. I am. I'm gonna get you out of here, bro. Don't worry. I'm gonna get you out of here. All right. Yeah, I know. You're struggling right now. You're getting tight. All right. Here we go. All right. Thank you very much to everybody that called in. I'm so happy that this phone line is working now, so that we can just run smoothly through this entire show with no complications. It was a tough transition, but man, listen, kudos again to Schmitty for getting it done. We are back at it like we never left, and now we can just keep running and keep adding and keep doing amazing things. But in order for us to get to that level, we need your help. So if you have not done this already, please like, subscribe, hit that bell, make that thing
Ring-a-ling-a-ling.
so that you can get notifications when we send notifications. Like off season, we got 3 more weeks left until we see we'll probably see a combine in between, but we got free agency coming, so that's going to be very exciting. Obviously, we're going to do a live draft show and stuff like that, but the only way you're going to find out about that is if you got that bell on and get notifications whenever we send them. So make sure you do that. Likes. If you haven't given us a thumb yet, what are you doing? What are you waiting for? All right. Last but not least, HighMikeHighTech.com for all of your IT and technical needs. If you have any installs, if you have any computer issues, I even had him repair my PlayStation 5 controller, and it went through smoothly. He called me after it was done like a dream. It works without a hitch. None of that, right? So make sure you hit them up, HighMikeHighTech.com for all your IT needs. This has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
40 Keys, and this is for Nico and Billy D.
And Schmitty on the ones and twos.
And I got a challenge for all the viewers. If you watched all the way until the end, we really appreciate you. Go ahead, go down to the comments, and leave 40 Burger in the comments.
Oh, 40 Burger. Let's go.
Hashtag 40 Burgers.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much to everybody for watching. Y'all have a great night. Peace.